Good day, BSED Social Studies 2-1, and welcome to another topic, which is the Module 18, entitled Problem Solving and Creativity. Let me introduce myself. I am Hanz Christian Gamot from BSED Social Studies 2-1. Dili na ta mo kuha na ning motivational activity as ato sa ning skip. Okay, let's move on to the learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the 85% of BSED Social Studies 2-1 should be able to A. Explain the 4 criteria of creativity by Torrance and the 6 stage of creative problem solving. B. Practice creative thinking. And C. Apply problem solving skill in a real life and daily life. So let's move on to our discussion proper. So Torrance framework for creative thinking. So a common framework for creative thinking processes is described by Torrance. Each aspect is defined in next slide, along with ways to facilitate the respective aspect by using keywords and application activities. Okay. So here are the model for the problem solving and creativity, which divide to two components, which is the Torrance creativity framework and the creative problem solving. So for the Torrance creativity framework, we have the fluency, flexibility, elaboration, originality. So the Torrance framework, developed by psychologist Edward Paul Torrance, is a model that aims to understand and assess creative thinking. Torrance's work on creativity is extensive, but one of his most well-known contributions is the Torrance test of creative thinking, or the TTCT, which includes various measures to evaluate different aspects of creativity. The Torrance framework consists of 4 main components or criteria for assessing creative thinking. First is the fluency, the flexibility, originality, elaboration. These 4 components provide a comprehensive view of creative thinking abilities. The Torrance test of creative thinking typically involves a series of tasks designed to elicit responses that can be scored based on this criteria. So the Torrance creativity framework. So the first criteria is the fluency. So what is fluency? It refers to the production of a great number of ideas or alternate solutions to a problem. Fluency implies understanding, not just remembering information that is learned. So fluency in the Torrance framework specifically relates to the ability to generate a large quantity of ideas or responses within a given period. It emphasizes the quantity aspect of creative thinking rather than the quality of individual ideas. Individuals who exhibit high fluency are able to produce a wide range of ideas, solutions, or responses, often in a rapid and spontaneous manner. So the keywords in fluency is the compare, convert, count, define, describe, explain, identify, label, list, match, name, outline, paraphrase, predict, and summarize. So for the application idea, in this picture you can see the picture of the heart. If you have this criteria nga na kay fluency, you will be easily labeled all the parts of the heart. For example, kani siya nga part is diha ang aorta, diha ang unsay other parts of heart, etc. Diba? So you can easily track and label all the parts of a specific thing or etc. Next is next application ideas is list 8 things that are commonly read or contain red. So in fluency, you'll be able to what do you call that? Elaborate 8 things that contains red. For example, apple, blood, red bird, cherry, fire, autumn leaves, bell pepper, and bullseye target. So that is the fluency. Okay, so let's move on to another criteria, which is the flexibility. So what is flexibility? So flexibility refers to the production of ideas that show a variety of possibilities or realms of thought. It involves the ability to see things from different points of view, to use many different approaches or strategies. So there are two main aspects of flexibility within the Torrance framework. First is the divergent thinking. Flexibility is closely tied to divergent thinking, which is the ability to generate a variety of ideas or responses. Flexible thinkers are adept at exploring different possibilities, considering alternative options, and avoiding a rigid or narrow focus. They can effortlessly switch between different conceptual categories and explore diverse avenues of thought. Next is 2, adaptability. So flexibility also encompasses adaptability in thinking. This involves the ability to adjust one's cognitive strategies in response to changing requirements or unexpected challenges. Flexible individuals can modify their approach, reframe problems, and consider new perspective as needed. So for the keywords of flexibility, we have the change, demonstrate, distinguish, employ, extrapolate, interpolate, interpret, and predict. So for the application idea, you will question yourself if what would happen if there were no automobiles. So you will be able to think if what would happen if there were no automobiles. So there are so many ideas you will come up in your head. Maybe if there were no automobiles, then the earth is healthy. There is no smoke belching vehicles, and also the people is healthy because they were not using automobiles. Instead, they are walking, or they're using their legs as a sort of exercise. So another application ideas is, for example, for this is how would you group the ideas about red into categories? So for example, red na fruit. So you will can easily identify which is the red fruit. So apple, cherry, tomatoes, and etc. So for the red safety feature, we have the exit sign, fire alarm, stop signs, and etc. So for the red vehicles, we have red fire truck, tricycle, car, and motorcycle. So that's all about the flexibility criteria. So the next criteria is the elaborate. So what is elaborate? So the process of enhancing ideas by providing more details. Additional detail and clarity improves interest in and understanding of the topic. So elaboration within this framework transcend the initial phases of ideation, extending into the realm of refinement and enrichment. It involves the meticulous process of expanding and developing creative ideas with a keen focus on detail, precision, and the exploration of possibilities. Through this component, individuals transform their creative endeavors from mere concepts into fully realized and sophisticated expression. So for the keywords is we have the appraise, critic, determine, evaluate, grade, judge, measure, select, and test. So for the application ideas, example is tell your neighbor about your last family trip using as many details as possible. So in this situation, imong pangutanon na imong neighbor. Imong sultian imong neighbor og unsay nahitabo sa inyong last family trip. Imong isulti every detail nga imong nahimduman, like for example, nag-trip mi dito sa Panglao Beach. So after that, nangaon mi sa restaurant, and then nag-check-in mi sa Henan Resort. And after that, nag-overnight. And then the day after, niuni na. Yeah. You can easily give the details as possible. So next application ideas is describe all the possible characteristics of the red quality in a red wagon. So you can easily elaborate what is the red quality in a wagon. So if you are if you are nagtanaw ka og red nga wagon, you can easily elaborate that the red shade that the red is a shade that is a red finish, the texture, and the uniformity. So that's all about the elaborate criteria in Torrance framework. Okay, so let's move on to the last criteria of Torrance framework, which is the originality. So originality involves the production of ideas that are unique or unusual. It involves synthesis or putting information about a topic back together in a new way. So originality is the hallmark of a creator who transcends the boundaries of conventional thinking. It involves the generation of ideas that break free from the molds of familiarity, offering fresh perspective and novel solutions. Unlike fluency, which focuses on quantity and elaboration, which emphasize depth, originality is concerned with the inherent uniqueness of the ideas themselves. It beckons individuals to explore uncharted territories of thought and to push the boundaries of the known. So for the keywords of originality, we have the compose, create, design, generate, integrate, modify, rearrange, reconstruct, reorganize, and revise. So for the application ideas, so design a new blank that is better than one you have. So in this picture, you can see design a new bulb. Bulb means the idea. Design a new car that is better that, for example, car. Design a new car that is better than the one you have. You will be able to make another unique car out of what you have. And also, another example is write an unusual title for the ideas about red. So for the interpretation for red is means revolutionary. And also example white. White means peace, purity, and also the color blue means um, the justice, the bravery, 'di ba? 'Di ba nga naman ng sometimes ang representation ana nga colors. Okay, so that is all about the four criteria of Torrance framework for creative thinking. So first is the fluency, the flexibility, elaborate, and the originality. Okay, so let's move on to creative problem solving, or the CPS, to be tackled by Miss Rebea Janah Tadena.
Good day, everyone. I would like to talk about creative problem solving, or CPS, an intentional process for solving problems and discovering opportunities. It exposes the use of creativity in coming up with solutions which are not only novel but practical as well. So, it is an intentional process that helps us solve problems and discuss opportunities. It emphasizes the use of creativity, or it encourages us to use our creativity to come up with not only innovative but also practical solutions. Kini nga proseso gituyo alang sa pagsulbad sa mga problema o pagpangita sa mga oportunidad. Next, in 1950s, Alex Osborne described this process in his book, Applied Imagination. Osborne opened the process in the public domain, which meant anyone can use it. So, in the 1950s daw, Alex Osborne introduced CPS in his book, Applied Imagination, making it accessible to everyone. He emphasized the importance of using creative thinking to tackle problems and find new opportunities. Kini nagpasabot nga bisan kinsa pwede makagamit niini. Osborne checklist, the origin of classical brainstorming, is the root of creative problem solving, or CPS. At the core of CPS is Osborne checklist, which is the foundation of classical brainstorming. The checklist provides a structured approach to generating ideas and finding solutions. In its most extended and formalized form, it has 6 stages, each with a divergent and a convergent phase. So, the first stage of CPS is called means finding. So, in this stage, we scan our environment for issues, concerns, challenges, or opportunities that need to be tackled. We use divergent techniques like brainstorming, such as the would it be nice if, or we'd nigh, and would it be awful if, or we buy techniques to identify desirable outcomes and obstacles to be overcome. For example, let's say we are trying to improve the recycling program in our community. So, during the misfinding stage, we might brainstorm ideas using the Whitney and we buy techniques. We might say, would it be nice if we had more recycling bins in public areas? Or wouldn't it be awful if we continue to see plastic waste harming our environment? The next step is to use convergent techniques. To narrow down our ideas, we can do this by identifying hotspots or areas to focus, expressed as a list of in what ways might, or IWWM. So, for a recycling example, we might generate IWWM like in what ways might we incentivize business to recycle more. We can then use selection criteria such as ownership, like problem ownership, motivation, and ability to influence it, and outlook like urgency, familiarity, stability, to narrow down our ideas further. This helps us choose the most viable and impactful solution to our problem. So, in the second stage of the creative problem solving, or CPS process, called data finding. So, the focus is on gathering information about the problem at hand. This stage helps to deepen our understanding of the problem and provides a solid foundation for generating effective solutions. So, the divergent techniques used, such as the 5 W's and H, who, why, what, when, where, and how. These techniques involve asking a series of questions about the problem to gather relevant information. It is important to encourage students to think critically and explore various aspects of the problem by asking questions like, who is involved in the problem? Why is the problem occurring? What are the key factors contributing to the problem? When does the problem typically arise? Where does the problem occur? and how is the problem affecting different stakeholders. So, another is convergent technique. It is restating the problem in the light of a richer understanding. After gathering information, students should re-evaluate and refine their problem statement based on the insights gained. This helps to ensure that the problem is accurately defined and provides a cleaner direction for solution generation. Example of this let's consider the problem of student absenteeism in a school. During the data finding stage, student could use the 5 W's and H technique to ask questions like, who are the students who are frequently absent? Why are they absent? Are there any common reasons? What is the impact of absenteeism in their academic performance? When do most absences occur? Are there specific patterns? Where are the locations where absences are more common? And how are teachers and parents addressing this issue currently? So, mao ito yung mga examples sa data finding. Alright class, we will explore stage 3 of the creative problem solving or CPS process, which is called problem solving. So, in this stage, we aim to convert a fuzzy problem statement into a broader, more suitable statement that can facilitate idea generation. We can mention the divergent techniques used, such as asking why and using repeatable questions. These techniques help us dig deeper and uncover the underlying causes or factors contributing to the problem. Additionally, we can mention the 5 W's and H technique: who, why, what, where, and how, to further explore different dimensions of the problem. For example, if the fuzzy problem statement is low employee satisfaction, we can ask like, why are employees dissatisfied? Or what are the specific factors contributing to the low satisfaction levels? By asking such questions, we can gain a better understanding of the problem and uncover its various facets. In terms of convergent techniques, we can mention highlighting as a way to identify key aspects or patterns within the problem. This helps us focus on the most important areas to address. It's important to note the mental stretching and explanation that participants engage in during this stage are often just as valuable as the final problem statement chosen. The process of narrowing down and refining the problem statement helps to stimulate creative thinking and generate new perspective. So now, let's take an example to solidify our understanding. Let's say the fuzzy problem statement is decreased sales. To convert it into a broad statement suitable for idea finding, we can use divergent techniques like asking why and the repeatable questions. For instance, we can explore why sales have decreased, what factors might be contributing to it, and how different aspects of the business might be impacting. I would explain the Van Gundy's process. It's a problem-solving technique that involves 6 stages, each of which has 2 parts. The 4th stage is called solution finding, and it is where we generate as many ideas as possible. In this stage, we use a wide range of idea generating techniques and we differ judgment while doing so. To provide a real-life example, let's say a group of students is tasked with finding a solution to improve students' engagement in their school. In the solution finding stage, the students would brainstorm various ideas on how to achieve this goal. They could use techniques like brainwriting or role-playing to generate as many ideas as possible. They would encourage on the most promising ideas and shortlist them for further evaluation. The students would consider factors such as the feasibility, impact on student engagement, and resources required for each idea before deciding which one to implement. This process allows the students to explore creative solutions and encourages their active participation in finding ways to enhance their own learning experience.
So stage 5, which is the solution finding. Generate and select obvious evaluation criteria using an expansion or contraction cycle and develop, which may include combining the short-listed ideas from idea finding as much as you can in light of this criteria. Then opt for the best of this improved idea, for example, using comparison tables. So in this stage, you'll be combining all of your gathered ideas to find a solution. So for example, for this is using the comparison table. So for example, you have the idea number one and the idea number two. You will pick the best answer for that in the idea one and then for the best answer for the idea two, and then combining those best answers to provide a better solution of the problem. So that's all about the stage 5. Okay, so let's move on to the stage 6 of the creative problem solving. So stage 6, acceptance finding. How can the suggestion you have just selected be made up to standard and put into practice? Shun negativity and continue to apply deferred judgment. Problems are exposed to be solved, not to dishearten progress. Action plans are better developed in small groups of 2 to 3 rather than in a large group, particularly for people problems. It is often worth developing several alternative action plans. Possible techniques include 5 W's and H implementation checklist, consensus mapping, potential problem analysis, or the PPA. So in this stage 6, gisulti diri as problems are exposed to be solved, not to dishearten problems. So what does it means? So ang problems is gi-expose gituyo gid nga naay problems to be are exposed to be solved. Wala gyud problem nga dili ma-solve, no? Maski unsa pa na kabugat nga problema, nagyud solusyon. And then wala pud gihimo ang problems to dishearten progress. Kundi gihimo ang problems just to strengthen our progress, to what we call that, gipalig-on ang proseso sa paglambo. And also, action plans are better developed in small group. Yes, tinood ni. Because if you're working in a small group, you can easily brainstorm ideas and solution to our action plans. If you are in a large group, we have different ideas and dili ta magkasinabot in terms of giving the action plans, because we have some different perspective in life in how to solve our different problems in life. And that's all for the stage 6 for the creative problem solving. And that's it. We have 6 stages of creative problem solving. So let's move on to the other model for problem solving. We have the Bransford ideal method.
So, I would explain Branford's ideal method as a model for problem solving that consists of 5 stages. The first stage is to identify the problem. This involves recognizing that there is an issue or challenge that needs to be addressed. It's important to clearly define the problem by thinking about it and sorting out the relevant information. This step sets the foundation for the rest of the problem-solving process. The second stage is to define the problem. Once the problem has been identified, it's important to delve deeper and understand it fully. This involves analyzing the problem, gathering relevant data and information, and clarifying the objectives or desired outcomes. These steps help to gain a clear understanding of what needs to be solved. The third stage is to explore solutions. This stage involves looking at alternatives, brainstorming ideas, and considering different perspectives. It's about generating as many possible solutions as possible and being open to different approaches. This stage encourages creativity and thinking outside the box. The fourth stage is to act on the strategies. After considering various solutions, it's time to choose and implement the most promising ones. This involves creating an action plan, allocating resources, and executing the chosen strategies. It's important to take action and put the solutions into practice. The fifth and final stage is to look back and evaluate the effects of your activity. This stage involves reflecting on the solutions that were implemented and assessing their effectiveness. Did they solve the problem? Did they have unintended consequences? This step allows for learning and improvement for future problem-solving situations. So overall, Bransford's ideals method provides a structured approach to problem solving that includes identifying the problem, defining it, exploring solutions, taking action, and evaluating the outcomes. It emphasizes critical thinking, creativity, and reflection, which are essential skills for effective problem solving.